is approval of the minutes from our September 2021 meeting. Would somebody like to make a motion that we approve the minutes from our September 2021 meeting?
So moved.
Somebody like to second that?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Any please? Okay, the minutes are approved. The first thing on our agenda tonight is that we're going to hear from the mayor. She's going to give us an update on some of the environmental things that are going on in the township now. Mayor Keffer?
Yeah, do we get to use, okay, yeah. I just jotted down a few quick notes. I'm not super prepared for this meeting, but I guess the, maybe the most obvious, project that is just about done is right across the street, the municipal lot 1. It has a few less parking spots, but has a lot more, green space and some stormwater improvements. There are also 6 charging stations there. 3 kiosks, so you can exit either right here in Chestnut or at the 2 corners kind of on Fairfield. Right, so pretty much anywhere you want to go. It's pretty easy for anybody to get to the kiosks. They're solar powered, which is great. A few more touches have to be done there with like a decorative fence, and there's going to be a signage that states, Upper Darby Township, the world in one place. So I think it really looks nice. A lot of it was done in time for the International Festival, which was good too. The other 2, I think, major projects which we are about to finish are the installation of solar panels on this building and Watkins Senior Center. So that's great too.
You say those are in process?
The bids went out, I believe.
Okay.
They've been opened and vendors been selected. Both of those roofs needed repair. That's been done, and now it's been done also in mind that solar panels are going to go on top of it. So whatever things you needed to do to accommodate the solar panels has been done. And then for like looking forward to next year, we do have to see which grants that we applied for that we got, because we have a pretty ambitious agenda to redo the observatory field. We had that pop-up skate park, it was in September, and that was received really well. There's also a grant out there for a Walkworks grant, which I think has to do with complete streets and making our sidewalks and pedestrian crossings safer. There's also one for it would be a study for all of our parks and public spaces. A comprehensive plan for that, which we don't have the results right now. And you may or may not have known, I forget what I've reported before, but we did change recycling handlers, and we're saving, immediately we started saving 30 to 50% on our recycling costs.
Nice.
Which is great. And there seems to be more compliance, a lot more compliance, according to Joe Martin, who heads the Public Works Department, in terms of people putting in the recycling containers what they should put in there.
Mayor, what's the name of the new contractor?
Republic.
Republic. Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a further draw on what's happened. I think normally on recycling day, recycling gets picked up first, so that they can head up the Blue Route and get back in time, and then the trash gets collected. And I think that's about it. Any other questions that you have that I could answer? I'm happy to.
Mayor, I haven't heard a report recently about that energy study and I've forgotten what it's called. I never remember what it's called. Remember you've gotten a grant, study the energy needs of the town.
Climate action.
The local climate action plan.
Yeah.
Action plan. All right. Yes, I'll have to follow up with you about that. I haven't seen like a written final report or a preliminary report or anything either, no requirement action plan, okay.
Sure, you're not into all the details, things like this, but is there any idea of what the savings would be over time of solar panels on this building in Washington?
I'm gonna say, we haven't done a study about it. One other thing we have to do here to make the building a lot more energy efficient is, change out the windows.
Yeah.
It's pretty drafty.
Sure.
So, I'm not, having said that, I don't know the details, but maybe Mike Galante might, so. Let me try that down for,
A lot of times, as a selling point, someone would come in and say, okay, we'll do this for you. What were your energy costs before?
mhm,
You know, and this will be the savings, maybe they'll save you 40%, 50%. And over the course of 6, 8, 10, 12 years, you'll get your money back with the outlay of the initial funds.
I'm sure that kind of assessment was done,
By somebody.
by somebody,
Yeah.
just need to find out, who did it and, you know, what they found out, because I know that there had been, an energy assessment done in the buildings in years past. And, yeah, I'm sure that that's done, you can try to find it out too. So I checked out the Republic website, and they have a lot of really good information about recycling and how to do it well on their website. One of the things I noticed that we were having some confusion about is that they will take caps to plastic bottles and stuff, but leave them on, don't
Yeah.
throw them individually into the bucket. Which I didn't realize that you could do that. We were sort of like confused with the last word, as whether or not we should put caps in or not put caps in. But they said, you can recycle the caps, just keep them on the bottles. So,
That was one thing that Triumvirate, the Plessy Coat and, Dr. Pepper was saying, look, keep the caps on, we can use them. It won't fail our.
So that's great. That's a really wonderful report, Mary Kepper, and I was really happy about recycling stuff. It's going to work out really well. There's more information out to people about proper recycling, and I think that that's going to pay off. Well, so thank you for that. I wanted also to actually, before we go on to any other business, put a thank you out to all the residents who came out to, I don't know if you can hear me on this, all the residents who came out to help restore the buffer at Gillespie Park. We had over 50 community members come out and plant over 300 trees and about 100 bushes there. And it was really fun, energizing. It looks great, and it will really do a wonderful job keeping our waters cool, keeping the waters from flooding over at the park, and bringing us shade and beauty at all at the same time. Oh, more birds, which is very nice. So thank you to all the community members who came out to do that, and also a big thank you to the municipal crew. Who really helped to make our lives a lot easier by putting their hard work into that space. So thank you for sharing that with us.
That ground was almost impervious to a regular shovel. Without the augers, we'd still be there.
Very soon, very soon, very soon. So our next order of business actually is our committee has been working for the past couple of months on looking at zero waste. And we had a little table at the fair, at the International Festival, and we tried to give information out to the public about what that means and make sure that people understand that that's a goal. That's not a reality necessarily. We're still going to probably have waste, but the goal is to get to the least amount of waste that you can by doing a whole bunch of things. And we have, as a committee, put together some recommendations that we'd like to make to the mayor and the council and the administration. We're gonna just read these. We've also provided a few resources that sort of just give a starting point as to some of the reasons why we recommend this. I'll just read the general, and then I'm going to ask some of the folks to that are here tonight to read the other groups. So our general recommendation to the Upper Darby Township Administration and Council would be that the Upper Darby EAC recommends that Upper Darby Township develop and adopt a zero waste comprehensive plan. There are a number of them out there as models, and we've suggested some places to look and see that. The Upper Darby EAC recommends that Upper Darby Township promote more broadly to the residents of Upper Darby the Upper Darby Zero Waste Initiative. Both educational efforts and incentives should be included in this promotion. Norm, would you like to read the reduce and refuse recommendations?
All right, I will do that. These, again, have to do with reducing and reusing. Refusing, right, we have a separate reusing. But again, this is all with the aim of trying to keep as much stuff out of the system so that we don't have to worry about getting rid of it. The first, the Upper Darby EAC recommends that Upper Darby Township institute an ordinance requiring a significant fee on single-use plastic bags. Just a quick comment on that. Some areas do this, which is essentially a tax or a user fee for the bags. Others simply prohibit them without any other incentive. I think the reading suggests that rather than simply prohibiting some kind of a fee for using them, discourages people more from using them than after saying you can't, because it's easier to avoid. So that's the first recommendation. Second is implement a bulk waste program using local scrappers. I know the township does pick up bulky waste, but we thought if there could be a much more organized system where people could find out when and how to put stuff out and have encourage some local entrepreneurs to pick up and get this stuff to the appropriate recyclers, that we might have better support for that. Next is adopt sustainable procurement policies. The best example of this would be in paper goods that the municipality uses to make sure that there is a requirement that a certain percentage of the material they buy, the vendors that they buy from, are using recycled materials in their paper goods. There are other similar kinds of policies, but that's the one which is easiest to understand. The municipality essentially begins to influence the market. Next is continue to move towards the electric vehicles, fleets, and charging stations. We're glad to see those across the street. By the way, I saw in, I think it was today's news, this infrastructure bill, which the Congress just passed the other day, includes a substantial amount of money for electric school buses. Now, I know that the municipality doesn't directly buy the school buses, the school board does. But I'm wondering if we might, as an EAC, send a letter to the school board and say, hey, look into this and let's get first in line to get that money. But obviously there are other fleet vehicles that the township uses, which we are moving towards as quickly as we can. And next is to explore what's called pay-as-you-throw pilot project for Upper Darby. This is to, again, discourage excess waste by, instead of simply picking it up for the fee that we all pay as a kind of tax, either by limiting the size of the containers, or some places sell the plastic bags, and you can only use the prescribed plastic bags. There's a number of different ways to essentially charge people for the amount they're throwing out as opposed to a flat fee the way we do now. And experience has shown that those tend to reduce waste collection. And we're suggesting that the township study this some more and come up with a pilot to try one of these and see if effective.
Thank you, Norm.
Yeah.
That's great. Peggy, would you be willing to tell us the recommendations around recycle and reuse and repair?
So one of the things, obviously, the recycling has changed in what is being recycled and how it is. So maybe working with Republic and seeing if we should go back to even putting newspapers together and separating like we used to do, if there is the right fee for it, so how we can get our recycling to get the most dollars for it. I know that the township has done a very good job of stopping picking up trash that had plastic bags and plastic in it, that plastic bags or the bubble wrap and everything, so continue to do that, maybe have a little sticky on it that says refused because of non-recyclable materials. I think that's a big one. I know we've been asking the Upper Darby School District to properly recycle. I was mentioning earlier, I have the opportunity to substitute teach in most of the Upper Darby schools, and all but one so far that I haven't made. And there are recycling bins in a lot of them, but to keep asking the school district to really enforce that, because if we teach the children what to recycle and where to place it, that it might get to the right place at home also. We also thought about finding ways to, encouraging those businesses that are in the township that are taking the reusable stuff and to make sure they're recycling, maybe listing all of the clothing bins. And there's businesses that also resell items. So to make sure that there's a whole list on the website so that people will then not just throw away, but will take the extra steps so that it can be reused or repaired. We also talked about having businesses get tax incentives or credits for those that recycle properly. Although I know some of them do their own recycling, but if there's ways to incentivize them. And then we've also talked about a bottle bill that some municipalities have to support that recycling, or that a tax would be put onto a bottled soda, so that it would be incentivize people to either buy larger quantities or to watch how they then return them to the dealers or to the bottler.
Thank you, Peggy. And just to clarify that last one, what we're hoping, this is something that's being taken up at the state legislature, and we're thinking about adopting this kind of process where it used to be in olden times that you would get a deposit back for a bottleneck. And so that's what the encouragement is. And we're just asking the township to approve a resolution, asking our state legislators to sponsor and support this bottle bill in the legislature.
Well, Bonnie, I'm not convinced, I don't know for certain, but I don't think there was a bill introduced in this session on that. There have been in the past.
Right.
I couldn't find, what's that?
The guidance committee.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, what I would hope that the township council would urge our legislators to themselves reintroduce that
Right.
And support it.
Yeah.
But I think that's the state would have to do it. You couldn't.
Yeah.
Upper Darby couldn't do it on its own. So
Right.
it has to be a state thing, but we can encourage our legislators to do that.
I think the state regulation says that no municipal township can.
No,
Probably not. I mean, that would be, the legislature would say that, that
Yeah.
preemption business, but,
right. Thank you. All right, and finally, wow, what's that about? Stephen, would you be willing to tell us, read us the recommendation?
This or not?
The green light's on, there's a little bar at the bottom.
Well, I'll speak loud enough, hopefully.
Push.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right. UDEAC recommends that Upper Darby Township, one, develop a pilot project to reduce compostable waste by businesses and individuals by encouraging everyone to separate yard waste and food waste from trash. Two, incentivize composting program for both businesses and individual participation.
Okay, great. We've talked with the council committee on public health and environmental awareness. And we're trying to work together to explore some of these, to do some educational programs around some of these ideas so that the public really knows and understands what these kinds of zero waste programs are all about. And we particularly hope that we can get the message across that there is no way. You really can't throw anything away. It has to go somewhere. And that costs a lot of money. That's damaging to the environment. And so limiting what you have to in some way get rid of, whether it's through recycling, reusing, reducing, so that it doesn't go in the trash, or a landfill or an incinerator, if we can help it, is the best way to have a sustainable environment, and to have a healthier community. So we're going to continue to urge the township residents, and everyone to think more clearly about zero waste and what we can all do to lessen the amount of stuff that we put either in our recycling or our trash. So we commend these recommendations to the township and look forward to working with the township on fulfilling some of them. Okay, thank you. Thanks everybody for taking part in that. I think everybody worked really hard and trying to pull all that together. So we just have some upcoming events that we know about. We have decided as an EAC that we are going to continue to meet in the new year, the second Monday of every other month at 7 p.m. starting in January 2022. We do have subcommittee groups that meet the other Mondays and flesh out various activities and recommendations to the township. We know that there's a Shade Tree Commission meeting on the 9th, that's tomorrow. And is that usually at 7 as well, Mayor?
Yes.
Yeah, 7 p.m. So people can attend that. Is that in person as well?
Yes, I think all the official commissions and boards meet in person now.
Okay. And also the council meeting is on the 10th, that's Wednesday. Yeah, that look forward to. Does anybody know any other things that are going on around the environment right now? Yes?
Yeah, I forgot to make this announcement. You guys might have noticed, but there's a lot of groups who do things on their own here, which I think is really great. And this past weekend, the Rotary Club of Lansdowne and Upper Darby joined forces with the Arts and Education Foundation Service Corps, and they had about 40 people out at 69th Street Field, and then volunteers. I was there helping them out as well, and they did the whole 69th Street Field all around Watkins, and then I think a bunch of them then went to the Stonehurst Elementary and cleaned up which it's across the street and up the hill a little bit. That was really great, and then and another group of residents organized on Sunday at the Harjahudas Cemetery. I think that it's probably the third cleanup they did this year. There's a lot of overgrowth removal, not like it's not trash. It's like so that's.
Is that throughout there or is it in the back by the?
I think they started out on Lansdowne Avenue because
Yeah.
it was hard to walk on the sidewalk there.
Oh.
It looks really good, so. No, it's just a lot of nice stuff, you know, obviously ties into the environment, so.
It's great, it's great. And, you know, I know a lot of people are interested in coming out and helping with those things, and hopefully at some point in time, we'll have on the website a little place where we can announce all of those different events or on the Facebook page. So that we can know and participate in this cleanup. It's a whole part of the environment. Thank you. Okay, we have public comment. Stephen Lockard is also part of the rain gardens, Derby Rain Gardens, and I think he wants to talk a little bit about the improvements across the street.
Oh, eventually. I was just gonna talk a little bit about rain gardens and the MS4 guidelines first, if I could.
Mhm.
Upper Derby Rain Garden, just a small private group which tries to mitigate stormwater and the damaging effects that stormwater brings. When rainwater hits an impervious surface, like a roof, a driveway, sidewalk, it runs off. It moves downhill and finds its way to our stream. The volume of water by itself can cause lots of damage, both along the way and when it gets to the streams. But the water carries with it lots of other stuff. For example, sediment from building construction causes damage to the biology in the streams. Nitrates, phosphates, and other fertilizers produce overgrowth of plants in the streams and later in the bays to which the water flows. There is even thermal pollution. As rainwater hits an asphalt roof or driveway on a hot summer day, it superheats the runoff, raising the stream's water and killing the stream's water temperature and killing many of the organisms. As a small volunteer group, we try to make it down. We built 11 rain gardens in the last year and a half. Our real contribution may be to raise awareness of the problem to the public. Jamie Anderson wrote for a large grant that may allow us to expand the number of rain gardens that we install by employing landscapers to do the heavy work, and then have volunteers that can help plant plugs, etc. The MS4 guidelines, MS4, sort of an acronym, stands for the Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System, and there are guidelines that the township and other governments have to abide by. Water that's going to hit the ground is eventually going to get to the streams. The goal is to slow it down, spread it out, and let it soak in. Give it a chance, 2, 3, 6, 10 hours before that water gets to the streams, and you can provide less damage to the streams. That's our goal in Upper Darby Rain Gardens. Across the street, in the municipal lot, there is a large surface. And the township trying to do some things to mitigate the storm damage. There are more things that they could do, and we'll probably put some of the recommendations to them. Hopefully, in the future, they can ask others to also provide some input, because I think a lot more water will slow down before it runs off that parking lot. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen. It's really important, I think, that we understand about rain gardens, and they look beautiful on private property in people's yards, and they really do help to mitigate the water and the rain from going into our waterways and clean it as it goes through in some ways. So it's important that we continue to promote rain gardens in the township. They do require maintenance, particularly in the first year, and people who do get them have to recognize that. There's always people out there that can help you if you need help in maintaining or have questions or need resources for your rain garden once you put them in. So we'll encourage people to do that. In addition, we encourage people to take advantage anytime there's a rain barrel workshop that's happening in the township and get yourself a long barrel to attach to your downspout so that we can, again, keep that water from going straight down impervious surfaces and into our sewer system. So thank you for doing that.
Steve, do you have any idea when you might hear about that grant that you're looking for?
Usually these grants took quite a while for us to weigh who's to receive them. I'm told that we won't get any knowledge of this until well into January, maybe not until February. But it's a substantial amount of money that we ask for. But landscapers can play a key part. We've trained 2 or 3 landscapers now to help us. And I think they could go and do them on their own if other homeowners wish to do it. So we're hoping that we're getting to the point where many of us can't do the heavy work right now. So if they'll do the heavy work, we can come out, we can do the assessment, we can design, we can buy the plants, we can transport, we get everything in place. And then after they do the heavy work, we get volunteers, dig a few holes, put some plants in. There you go.
Great. Any other comments that anyone would like to make? Or any other information to share?
Who's running the Facebook page now?
Well, Amanda's still there. We have a meeting to talk about how to hand that off and we'll take care of it. And one of our members, Kristen, offered to do that. So we'll be talking about that. One of the great things about having Amanda do that is that she would set up a calendar and we would send her resources and things to put on the Facebook page, and then she would schedule them and they would automatically then go on. So we hope to continue doing it in that way. We'll miss Amanda on our team.
Need to clone her.
Yeah, she was fabulous for social media, but we'll be looking for others. So, anything else? No? Well, we have an actual meeting tonight, but thank you all for being here and for doing this work, and we'll follow up with the township and the council around the recommendations for zero waste. Would somebody like to make a motion that we adjourn our meeting?
So,
Any second?
I'll do it.
Okay, all in favor of adjourning? Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Up, right here. Any nays there?
Nope.
Nope, okay, then the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff.
Oh, Jeff. Jeff Miller.
Okay.
I think Jeff and one other person was here virtually. And I think Amanda said this is the last
I'm
time.
sure you don't get into the weeds of things, but the charging stations,
Mhm.
how quickly do they recharge?